So good afternoon and welcome to WISCAR's Annual Leadership and Mentoring Conference 2020. We are delighted to have you with us. My name is Habiba Balogun. I am Master of Ceremonies and will be guiding you through our time together today. We will open with some Goodwill messages and the founder's address, then hear about the impact WISCAR's mentoring program has had on the lives of our mentees. We will feature the talents of creative Nigerian women and then proceed to our keynote panel discussion. We will graduate our 2020 mentees and introduce you to our incoming mentees for 2021. Then, the highlight of the day, a fireside chat with our keynote speaker, followed by the presentation of the Distinguished WISCAR Award. We will close with the opportunity for you to be mentored by 14 WISCAR mentors in intimate roundtable sessions. It will be a full, engaging, and rewarding day. Thank you for choosing to spend today with us. Many of you are familiar with the Zoom platform, some of you are not. So let me familiarize you with how we will be using Zoom to optimize your experience. Microphones will be kept muted unless you are invited to make a comment. At that point, a message will appear asking you to unmute so that you can comment. Please remember to re-mute your microphone afterwards. If you are speaking, please turn your video on so that we can see your face. A big part of WISCAR's mission is making female talent more visible and providing networking opportunities. Turning your video on will accomplish both, so please do so. We will be communicating primarily via the chat box. If you have specific questions for the speaker, please preface it with question. If you have general comments to make or reactions or would like to direct a comment to another delegate at this conference, please use the chat box. If you would like to make a verbal comment, please raise your hand to bring yourself to the moderator's attention. On your laptops, all you have to do is click on participants, scroll down, and you will see the raise hand icon. Just click on that. If you are on your phone, you will see the raise hand in your Zoom control menu. Just tap on your screen and select more. Now, network instability is a fact of life for virtual events. If your network becomes unstable, consider switching to another source or your phone hotspot. Check that your data has not run out. It's happened to me before. If you are disconnected, simply reconnect. And if one of our speakers is disconnected, please be patient. They will reconnect. We have taken steps to make sure it does not occur, but life happens. If you have any challenges at all, please message the host in the chat and we will support you in resolving your issues. So, once again, welcome. We are opening the conference with the national anthem. So please, wherever you are, please rise for a rendition of the national anthem by award-winning opera singer Ronti Ihimoyan. Arise, O compatriots, Nigeria's call obey, to serve our fatherland with love and strength and faith. The labor of our heroes past shall never be in vain. To serve with heart and might, one nation bound in freedom, peace and unity. O God of creation, direct our noble cause. Guide thou our leaders right. Help our youth the truth to know. In love and honesty to grow, and living Thank you very, very much, Ronti. That's one of our great talents in Nigeria, and tremendously talented young woman. So, our conference is open. Our conference is open. Before we start, I think it's only appropriate and necessary for us to observe a moment's silence for those we have lost this year. We come from the Almighty, and to Him we shall return. May their souls rest in perfect peace. So, welcome once again to WISCAR's annual Leadership and Mentoring Conference. We are privileged to be joined by notable supporters and friends of WISCAR who have made themselves available to deliver goodwill messages to you all. The Honorable Minister of Finance, Budget and Planning, Zainab Ahmed. Good afternoon, Honorable Minister.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. It is really a pleasure to be here today. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, good. To share a goodwill message with you all for the 2020 WISCAR Annual Leadership and Mentoring Conference, which has been appropriately titled The Future We Want. This future we want begins now. It is a future in which more women occupy meaningful leadership positions across all sectors and have a seat on the table and are empowered decision makers. It is a future that reflects our collective efforts to empower, uplift, and create space for the next generation of women leaders. We in government have heeded the call to action for the development and implementation of strategic policies and initiatives that will be aimed at closing the gender gap and promoting women's leadership and economic empowerment. We will continue to develop and implement policies and regulatory frameworks and programs that are inclusive and gender sensitive. Furthermore, we will partner with other stakeholders to help remove the socio-economic and cultural barriers that prevent women from participating fully in society and also from reaping the economic benefit of their participation. It is especially important given the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. Considering that many of our countries are facing fiscal constraints and low revenues post-COVID-19, it is especially critical for us to scale up existing initiatives and develop new ones, such as gender positive and gender responsive budgeting that sits at the intersection of gender and fiscal policy and public financial management. Additionally, we recognize that technology is critical. It is a critical enabler for gender inclusion. It is important, therefore, for us to work to unlock economic and financial inclusion for women-owned businesses and for formalizing the informal sector in which most businesses are actually women-owned. We are therefore actively enabling those industries best positions to drive technological innovation and promote digital and financial inclusion. Ultimately, every one of us has a role to play, and we must each take the time to support and mentor women and girls in our lives and ensure that they have the tools and opportunities with which to thrive. I sit here today having benefited from mentorship for both men and women, by the way, and who have been my potential and who have seen my potential and had helped to champion my work and my advancement. I therefore believe strongly in the power of mentorship and in the work of organizations such as WISCAR. I want to congratulate WISCAR and specifically our friend and sister Amina and your colleagues for doing this great work. I want to join everyone in committing to co-creating the future we want, a future which provides equal opportunity for everyone. And I also want to commit to be a mentor to some of the young women and girls in our lives. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to be part of this very interesting and awesome event. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. Thank you for your leadership, especially during these extraordinary days, and for those words that we've truly taken to heart. We shall certainly be in touch with you about mentoring. The chairperson of ANAP Jets and political commentator, Atedo Peterside.
Good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. You know, for me, my focus always is going to be Nigeria. So when I talk about things like the future I want, I'm focusing on the future I want for Nigeria, for my country. That's my principal area of attention. And the number one thing I would like to see in Nigeria is for women and youths to wrestle power away from elderly and not so competent men who are largely the power brokers. Yes, I say women and youths. You might say, why am I bringing in youths? By definition, half the youths are women anyway. So I think that it's important that it looks as if we are not going to achieve good governance unless and until women and youths take their rightful place in this economy and also in our political arrangements. The NSAS movement was the tip of the iceberg, in the sense that I think it led to an awakening of a gentle giant. So many young women and men now understand that they must show an interest in the political affairs of their own country. So in a sense, the genie is out of the bottle. They have been convinced that they cannot sit by and hope that some older men will somehow deliver for them. They have to take their country back. And I keep stressing women for a variety of reasons. Everything I've done in my own career, people can say I've ridden on the back of very competent women and very competent youths. Of course, I'm also some competent men. But I think COVID-19 has been a lesson for us. You know, I heard Amina asking about equality and all that. I even go further. And what I will say may surprise you. COVID-19 has taught the whole world that if you look at the evidence, the countries that appear to have been led by women as heads of state have had a far better crisis. So it's not an argument for equality. There's a time and a place where women at the helm of affairs will probably do a better job than men. And I think COVID-19 has opened our eyes. Unless you believe it's a coincidence that all those countries that have women as heads of state seem to have had a much better crisis. I don't believe in that kind of look. I think there's a reason for that. Generally speaking, you may not agree, or some of you will agree. I find in Nigeria's context that with women there's more honesty, higher integrity, more discipline, humility, and women are also more caring. So a crisis like COVID involves those types of qualities, which are missing, sadly, in many men. So for me, the issue is that future we want, women must take their rightful place. I'm embarrassed and ashamed that after all this time, we don't have a single woman governor in Nigeria. And my prayer is that in 2023, we will correct such things, because this future we want involves caring about a variety of things that men in Nigeria just don't seem to get, including the environment. I have been exposed and gone to parts of Lagos State, between, let's say, Ajah, going all the way to Ebe. You can hardly find trees left. People just cut all the trees down, use them for charcoal, firewood, and all that. You know, and you wonder who is going to solve all these types of problems. So for me, a very clear message. Yes, I love equality, but I'm also saying that please let's be a little bit more ambitious. There are times when women can and should do a better job. So please remember that, and I pray that this conference is very successful, and I thank you all for your attention. I know that you're on the right track, and it's my sincere hope and prayer that the seeds you sow today will help to achieve my goal of seeing women take a much more definitive role in the affairs of our nation. Thank you very much and have a wonderful conference.
Thank you so much, Mr. Peter Side. Thank you for your messages. Thank you for continuing to encourage young women and men. And I assure you, you kept on emphasizing on competence. I assure you, if you're a competent young woman, you're a competent young man, you're a competent person, there's a future for you in this Nigeria that we want. Thank you once again. The founding chairperson of Africa Initiative for Governance, Ig Imokwede.
Good afternoon, distinguished participants. I do hope you can hear me. Amina and the WISCAR team, thank you for your very kind invitation. I'm really thrilled, actually, to be part of the 2020 Annual Leadership and Mentoring Conference that WISCAR is organizing. I think it's very important for me also to take this opportunity to acknowledge Amina's great work using WISCAR as a platform to prepare professional women, for the important task of nation building. I've known Amina for several years now, both as a professional working in the for-profit sector, but I think probably I've been more impressed actually with her developmental and philanthropic work and her work as a social entrepreneur. So thank you very much for the opportunity to join you in moving the needle as far as preparation of Nigerian women are for the task of nation building. It's also an honor actually to occupy space on this virtual platform with people like Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, who you'll be hearing from very soon. Her outstanding contributions to humanity, both in Nigeria and in the larger global world, testify to the transformational power of women and the type of outcomes that occur when female professionals are given significant responsibility. Now, very much like at Edo, throughout my life journey, and this is whether as a professional, as an entrepreneur, or as a philanthropist, I have always hired the right person for the right job, male or female. That has been my approach to life. You have a job to get done, look for the right person to do it. And this formula has proven successful over and over again. And I dare say that, it's not rocket science. And when you discover a winning formula, you don't change it. Now, in all these recruitment decisions that I have made, as I bring people to tasks or to join me on teams, or to even select people who will lead teams that I'm on, as a team member, I learned long before Harvard University, brought out this famous study in 2016, where they surveyed about 21,000 public companies in 91 countries. I knew that the presence of female leaders in top positions correlates with increased performance of these companies. Atedo, articulates it that he ran successfully on the back of the efforts of women and young and old. But I know his story, and I think I see more women than men in that success story, and it's not really different from mine. Personally, I have sympathy for institutions and countries that fail to recognize this winning formula. Institutions and countries where women are not given the opportunity to make a difference. It's a bit strange, where you can see with evidence that abounds, and even as Atedo pointed out, in current times when we face a global, COVID pandemic, that women seem to be doing a much better job than men at addressing this challenge. And I'm not saying that there are not countries where men are doing a good job, but more than ever, we know that women have proven their abilities as well as men, and in certain instances, stronger than men, to do outstanding jobs. There has never been a greater need in Nigeria for people who can make a difference. There has never been a greater need in Nigeria for people who can build this type of future that we want than at this present time. Now, people say the giant of Africa is sleeping. Nigeria is in slumber. But there's also a proverb, I think it's a Chinese proverb. When sleeping women wake, mountains move. You and I, as individuals, are not sleeping. But many people believe that Nigeria is in deep slumber and has been so for some time now. But now we need to move these mountains. The pandemic gripping the world is a challenge. But these challenges represent opportunities. Now is the time that we need to build momentum towards a much greater Nigeria. We have spent too much time in Nigeria focused on only waking up the male side of this giant. Maybe that's why we are not moving the mountains. It's time for us to focus on the women as well. Your presence at this virtual conference means that you are ready to embrace all that the WISCAR experience offers. Great mentors, great teachers, people who have been there, done it. This conference also leverages the power of technology. But one thing that I want to leave with you is that we will not move mountains without women in government. And when we speak to professional women, let it not just be women in business. More important than at any point in time in our history and progress as a nation will be women in government. We need to take extraordinary steps to get women represented in government. Every one of you, I have looked at the participants list. And the great thing about technology is that as I see names, I can Google them. And I see women on this platform, on this call, who have the capacity to become leaders of substance, not just in business, but also in government. Women who can stand tall, like Ngozi and Amina. Women who can move mountains like Nigeria needs. My prayer is that at the end of this conference, you will come up with a formula, extraordinary things that will bring women in government. And with people like Atedo, and I will follow, we will support you to the very extent of our abilities and our resources. Thank you, congratulations, and very best wishes for a wonderful 2020 conference. God bless.
Thank you so much, Agi Mokwede. Thank you so much for all your work with your foundation to build the capacity for good governance. Thank you very much. And to our final Goodwill message, I'd like to invite the Executive Director of UN Women, Under Secretary General of United Nations, Mumzile Mlambo Nchuka.
Dear Amina, thank you for inviting me to send a message at this occasion of WISCAR annual gathering on leadership. I congratulate you for this excellent work and for the inspiration you are to young women. I appreciate the work that you have done to show young people that where they start in their lives doesn't have to be where they end. The world is their oyster. They are Generation Equality, which is a campaign we have adopted in order to make sure that we finish the unfinished work of the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action. And I know you have provided mentorship, which encompasses the Beijing Declaration. I hope that these young people will be standing on your shoes, or in fact are already standing on your shoes, showing us what the future can be. Count me in. I would like to support your efforts. I am sure with Mrs. Ngozi as one of your guests, you will get not just wisdom, but inspiration that will take you far.
So much, Madam Under Secretary. Thank you very, very much. Now, we ended last year with amazing words from our distinguished WISCAR Award winner, the founder of the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf Center for Leadership, and former president of Liberia, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. And we're privileged that we're going to end this opening session also with her. Madam President.
Greetings to all participants, and special greetings to our eminent leader, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, and to you, Amina. As the world faces the human ravages of COVID-19 and the consequences of long-standing inequities and injustices, particularly for those marginalized, such as women and youth, we join the call for action, the call for change, and the call for a future in which the human rights of all people are respected and enforced, and a future free of misogyny and gender-based violence. We call for a vibrant economy in which women and youth are fully represented in politics, public service, and the private sector. We look forward to a future in which rural women and women in the informal sector will have equal rights for access to land, to credit, and to technology. We call for a future of good governance in which there's respect for the Constitution, in which justice prevails for all, in one in which the productive economy where men and women can be fully engaged and employed. We call for a future when women can apply the qualities of knowledge, courage, and humility in the pursuit of leadership and in the professional goals of their choosing, operating in an environment of equity. We look at a future in which young girls can be assured of equal opportunity in education, healthcare, and have full participation in all areas of society. As you discuss where we are in this global environment of change, let's call on women to be a part of the change, to be the change, to claim the leadership they so deserve. That's my message to you. That's my message to myself. That's my message to the women of the world. Our time indeed has come.
Thank you so much, Madam President.